Hello everyone, I'm Jeff. It's now time for us to start on the grammar portion of our lesson. Sit down and get ready to learn, because today we are going to talk about the imperative. Now before I said sit down and get ready. These are commands, and yes, we use the imperative when making commands. Now, let's talk about forming imperative sentences. Imperative sentences are very, very unique. Very often, a sentence using the imperative doesn't need a subject. We can say things like, sit down, without using words like you. Why? Because we know who the command is for, okay? We know exactly who the command is for based on the person or people that we are talking to. In fact, all that is needed to create a sentence in the imperative is a verb. Here is one of the shortest possible sentences in the English language. Sit. Now, this is not a very polite sentence, but it is grammatically complete. Now, we can make different kinds of commands. If we want to give someone a positive command, we can say something like, eat the cake. But if we are giving someone a negative command, we have to add do not. Okay? For example, we could say, do not eat the cake, or don't eat the cake. We can also add a name if we want to tell a specific person to do something, as in, eat some cake, Wendy, or don't touch the cake, Joe. Now, in addition, a command can be polite. For example, please don't eat the cake, or do not eat the cake, please. Or a command can be strong, as in, do sit down, or never eat cake. Now, of course, we don't always have to make commands. Do this, do that. That's too bossy. We can also use the imperative when giving instructions or when giving someone directions. Now, for instructions, we can say something like, first, open the box. For directions, we can say something like, turn right at the bank. Now, if you want to make someone an offer, you can say, try the pizza. And let's say you want them to eat pizza at your house with you. You could say, come to my house for dinner. Now, giving advice, well, people love to give advice. And apparently you can use the imperative when giving advice. You can say something like, drink lots of water. Now finally, we can also use imperatives to give warnings, such as, watch out for the car! Now, we can also use the word let's in the imperative, as in, let's go to the food court. Now that's a positive suggestion. You can add not to form a negative suggestion, as in, let's not eat cake tonight. I'm tired of eating cake. Oh, and one more thing, if you're still sitting down, that is. As I said earlier, a really short sentence in English is simply sit. Now, this sentence might be impolite, but people say it to dogs all the time. In fact, we often speak to pets and animals in the imperative, at least when we want them to understand us. Then, or in cases like this, we want the simplest possible language. You know, sentences that include the fewest words or the smallest number of words. And yes, commands for dogs are simple. They include words like come, sit, or roll over. Notice how short those sentences are. Very often there's only one word. How about that? Oh, and there's one other command that you might just yell at a dog. You can say, stop barking! We're trying to sleep here. Okay, let's take a break. After all, that's the end of the grammar portion of our lesson. So you guys can put down your pencils and pens and relax. And you can also join us for the next unit. Oh, and before we go, I have one more sentence for you guys. Have a good day. That sentence is in the imperative. How about that? Have a good day.